All right, we are back at it. It's been a while because it's been raining and we're finally getting a little bit of better weather. I got the young fella in there getting ready to take off some grounds. Are you doing that right now? He's uses his time to get at your grounds and square things away like that. Down here, prior to the rain, we painted inside the engine compartment pretty decent. Not real good, but that way I figured it was gonna rain, so I figured I might as well get some paint on it. So we got these torqued and obviously marked, same old normal kind of stuff. And I'm gonna get ready to put the headers on. I'm gonna actually put the headers on first. I think I'm gonna shoot a little short on the headers because I don't know if style that I use is real common on old YouTube or not, but I'm gonna put it on there anyway. Because there's certain things you gotta do, like this dipstick. If you go to use the headers, you need to run your dipstick through the headers, and you gotta run your wires through them. And anyway, it's kind of a trick. So I've fought it over the years, so I figured it'd be a lot easier for me to just go through and, you know, shoot a little video, so it might be able to help somebody, so you don't have to struggle like I did. All right, back up for a second, bud. All right, you see that cable down there on the transmission with the little two holes, that metal plate around the wire, right to the left side of the transmission? Yep, lift that up. That's like a heat shield, okay? That goes on the bell housing and transmission. Tuck that behind the transmission a little bit on that side. There you go. So that's out of the way now. So we're just trying to get everything off to the side. I'm gonna have to get an oil pan, but behind you now, these oil lines, we're gonna have to, hey, what are you doing? You leave that bird alone. You can tell she's a bird dog. Oh, look at her. Come on, girl. Come on. All right. But yeah, before you pull these lines back, I'm gonna put a drip pan down because we're gonna have to tilt the lines down and I don't wanna have oil all over the ground. But we're just gonna tidy things up and get the headers on and then set her on in. Now, real quick on these grounds, typically on the passenger side of these trucks, you'll have grounds down here. One will go from the frame and the other go up to the body. And the one on the body there, you can see it's broken. Can you? Yep, that one there. And then on the frame, so that's no good. I have another strap on here, and this one I have running to the engine. I'm still gonna wanna run another one to the engine, but what I'm gonna do with this one for now, I'm just gonna make sure to ground the body, because I'm gonna have other grounds that are gonna be going to the engine. But make sure, a lot of times people have starting all kinds of issues, electrical issues, because of, I mean, look at that strap. Look at, that's solid copper, the old school ones, you know, and obviously she's no good. So I should have a better cable on there, but you can't really find them braided ones. So I've been struggling finding them. So if anybody knows where I can get a nice braided ground strap, let me know. Appreciate it. All right. We'll catch you guys in a bit. I almost forgot, also, speaking of the grounds, not just replace the cable, but as I just mentioned, I painted in here. So I'm gonna wanna take that bolt off. That one there, yep. I'm gonna take that one off and then sand around it. And then the nut underneath of there, you can see the stud. I'm gonna clean up the stud and that nut, and that way we'll have a nice connection for both of those points. Make sure you clean that up. Oakley dokley. So we got these ends. This one's kind of shiny, right? Not too bad. You still should clean that up. And look at this one. You know, you're half tempted to put that on, right? Just clean that up. Just like here. I didn't clean the threads. Probably should, but I'm not worried about it. This connection and against the frame there is what really matters. But I'll still run this on the wire wheel. I'm not gonna clean this up because that is painted already, so you know, I don't need to worry about it rusting any more than it already is. So we're gonna clean them up with this little wire wheel, this little sanding disc, and then we'll put that ground on and get after it. Get these headers on and we'll be done. Now, the last time I put this motor in, well, there's a knock sensor under there that got pinched between the motor and the bell housing. Anywho, just now getting around to fixing it. Good thing I remembered. So that's what the young feller's doing. And also we got the ground strapped back to the body, cleaned it up with the wire, the sanding discs, and then now we're just going to set the engine in close, hook up the oil cooler lines, and then we're going to prime it. You don't have to, but we're going to, if we remember. There you go. All right, now go ahead and give her some heat. All right, it's late. Moment of truth. Here we go. Up. Let's go in. She's pretty tipsy. Ooh. Up. Why did it get extended out so far? Oh, that was great. What was that, bud? Round 2, fight is right. So, you see what we got in there? Well, we were defeated last night and just put the hood on because it was so dark. Trying to... Don't do it with the headers in there. We should have never... I knew better. But we're going to still fight it and try to get it in with the headers anyway. So we'll get this hood off and get back at it. All right, she's got her engine in. So, young feller's finally coming back out, and break time is over. But I shouldn't have did something. I painted the new chain, well, the old chain. And I don't remember why I always left that greasy, because all it did was pop the paint off and make a mess. So anyway, she's in there. The problem that we were running into was on this side. There's a heat shield that protects the wires, and it kept catching on the header there, and it was dark. It was hard to see. So I recommend don't do it. Playing with dogs. But I recommend you don't want to put it in, the engine in with the headers, because it's a lot more fight than it is just to put the headers in. The headers are a pain to put in, but I would have to say it was more of a fight trying to do it this way. And usually I have a different setup than this chain, so it was kind of tweaking it. But I just recommend to lift up the transmission a little bit, and then when you set the two together, marry them together. But you know, just take your time, make sure you ain't got no wires stuck in there and everything's out of the way. And but we're just gonna get to, oh, I was gonna prime the motor too, so we're gonna get the oil lines hooked up, and I'm still trying to find my oil primer thing, and can't find it nowhere. Let's go see what these guys are doing over here.
You guys want to go inside?
Yeah. So now back at it. This little rubber boot would probably melt also if you didn't wrap those, especially if you run her hard, you know, don't you know. So we're just gonna start buttoning up, get everything, all the bell housing bolts, get the motor mount bolts, and I recommend to run water if you can. If it's, you know, above freezing, you ooh, yeah, go ahead, eat it, go ahead, skate or die, dude. But I recommend running coolant through it, and or not coolant, water through it before you run coolant, because that way you can flush out all the crud that was in them cylinder heads, you know. And that way, if there's a leak, you don't leak all your expensive coolant and toxic. They say it's not, but come on, let's try not to be spilling gallons and gallons of it everywhere, right? So let's flush some water through this system, make sure there's no leaks, drain it, and then we'll put some coolant in it when we're ready for that. But first, we'll get this oil primed up. Get down in here. All right, so the distributor's not in here, so look back there. So the distributor's not back in. So I have this primer tool. Put this in here. Not sure if this is gonna even fit with this drill, and I don't even know if this drill will work. Usually I use a heavier duty drill. Oh, there you go. Here's the oil. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So it's spinning up oil. Now, give me that and look under and see if it's leaking oil anywhere before we get too carried away. So basically we're just reaching down in there and spinning the oil pump, which is in the bottom of the oil pan, basically, in the oil pan. Everything look good? Yep. Cool. So we're gonna do this a bit more, and I could pull the valve covers, but I'm really not worried about it because this engine was running. It's not like it was a completely rebuilt, brand new. So you don't even really need to do this, but I'm gonna do it a little longer because, you know, why not? And then we'll start pulling down the wires and get the distributor in first, obviously. Make sure it's on number 1. Point the distributor towards number 1. Pretty simple, but we'll be back. Oh, don't. Now this distributor, I like to have the flat side, easier way for me to remember, towards the intake, and the plug's pushing back that way. Obviously you want to make sure your gasket's on there. I like the silicone mine on that, so that way it stays there. And when we put this in, I'm gonna have to stop filming just because I gotta hold that up, put it in there. But it's gonna be oriented towards the rotor. Right, this is gonna be pointing towards number 1 cylinder, 1357. Okay, so we're going to be pointed towards here. So we'll be back. Now onto this mess of wires. We already got all the bell housing bolts. I did that before I got the cap in, distributor cap in back there. So now I need to get all these mess of wires. So I started with this big plug first, but before I get too carried away with the wires, I want to get these fuel lines up here. Run this wire over those. Another thing I'm going to have to do is I've got a ground on the back side of the head that we ended up putting some nice paint on it. And, oh, that's caught down there. Fun. Anyway, we need a better ground over here, so we're going to have to clean it up so we can get that ground hooked up. Because like I said, these grounds are some of the most important wires that you need to get hooked up. But like I said, this stuff's pretty self-explanatory where it goes. You know, if it doesn't seem to go somewhere, you know, try a different spot. But it all kind of goes, you know, where it kind of falls in place, you know. No, that don't fit there. Don't fit there. So it's pretty self-explanatory on where a lot of these are going to go. So we've got to untangle all this. So these are the real long ones. Remember where these ones went? These ones go down, right, with this ground down here. So we've got to get these wires down this way. Now we're going to have to get some of these other brackets on as well. But see, that's where that ground there goes. And then we've got the crank position sensor plug. And this one goes over to that power steering pump. But we'll be able to fire it without this other one. We're going to need this one hooked up. And like I said, we're going to definitely need this ground. So there's going to be a few wires that we really need to get hooked up. And some others that don't really matter quite so much. I could have sworn this one was over here somewhere. There's a lot of these plugs that oh, here we go. A lot of these plugs I'm going to be doing away with because, you know, some of them are like emissions. See, that one went, obviously that one goes there. Now we've got a few over on this side, right? Just go through. You know, you've got a round one here. I wonder where the round one goes. Just come around the other side. You know, now you got this other, wonder where that one goes. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. And then some of these are like the AC wire. I'm not going to use the air conditioning. This one also goes to the air conditioning. And then we've got a ground as well. But some of this stuff's not even going to get hooked up. But that's basically all you got to do is just go through and hook everything back up. So I'm going to fish these fuel lines back around and push them in, put in that little plate. But we're getting really close now. And before we fire this, I recommend that you run water in it the first time you run your engine. Because if you put a bunch of coolant in there and there's a leak, it's going to cost you lots of money, and that's obviously not going to be no good to spill everywhere. Also, we got all that crud that was inside the engine, so we're going to flush it with water as well. So we'll get 2 birds stoned at the same time. All right, we'll be back. So get your fuel lines. Yep, just get them. Oop, didn't mean to pull them out. Make sure your O-rings are in there. Okay. And just push these down. And then take your little bracket. Now remember, whoop, these little ears go down because I had a fuel leak one time because I put it the other way. Not me, no. So this is a pretty simple part. And then make sure to put the hold down bolt back in here. Put that one back in to hold her all down. You don't want your fuel lines moving and have this come leaking. But again, just buttoning up wires, simple stuff. Now onto this torque converter, we got to make sure it's slid all the way towards the flywheel. And I got one in there. Let's see how it's kind of moving here. I'm just gonna do it finger tight, and it's a lot easier to do with the plugs out, but we'll just rotate it around. Some guys will probably want to use Loctite, but I'm hoping I'll be putting a different motor in this sooner than later. So I like to go around and start every one of them by hand. Just kind of wiggle it, get it started. Because if you were to tighten that, you'll probably never line that up just right on the last one. So get you a 6-point wrench. That's what I always prefer. Just start tightening them up. Now there's a tool they make to hold this, which of course I don't have. And there's my torque setting right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that was it. Get them hand tight. Yeah, that's good. Now I recommend, I recommend to use their proper torque setting. Obviously over here you'll be able to access that. If you need to, just stick a screwdriver in to hold it. That's what I used to do, but you know, these, unless you're running some crazy RPMs, you don't need crazy tight. But still, I mean, that's tight. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll go 5, 6, 7, 8. That's good. All right, now we just got to go fire it up. What do you think? Is it gonna start? Is it gonna explode? Is it gonna go wham bam and that's it? I'm asking you, camera guy.
Go boom.
Thanks for your, vote of confidence there. So the one we don't even need, you don't need this one. Distributor could be 180 off too after messing with it so much. I need this, bud. Let's try this again. Now we're not going to run it very long if it runs, because I don't have coolant in it. I still got to flush it with coolant, or flush it with water. All right, here we go. Let's see. See if we get the fuel pump to kick on. Got ignition. You clear? Ready? That's what I'm talking about. Now the smoke was expected, because we filled it with some oil in the cylinders, but we got it. So now I'm gonna start buttoning everything back up. But I mean, if anybody ever has any questions on this stuff, I'll shoot more videos. But this is gonna be a multi-part video as it is. So if anybody wants to see any more, just let me know. But that's really it. Thanks for watching.